Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in Scotch Plains, New Jersey again, and I'm in the basement of the same house where I cleaned up all those dangerous extension cords in the garage. This is the basement. The plan today is to get some lights that'll work off the existing switch at the top of the stairs. The first thing I'd like to address is this wiring where I was working outside the garage door. It's right where I'm pointing my camera, right there in the corner. But what we need to do is address some of the stuff that's connected. This is a bunch of the stuff, the piping for the laundry system outside, the laundry machine. And as you can see, this same wire that was used for the garage door receptacle, where the ground wasn't connected or it came apart, and the red wire wasn't being used anyway. Looks like the same guy that did this did that, and that makes sense. So we're gonna button this all up here today and get some adequate lighting so people can see down here. And that's what this video is. And now some of you might look at that and say, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But really all that happened here was, this was the old supply. This is UF wire. So we'll see where that's coming from. And they just took this out, never bothered to put it back, but they just added this receptacle so they could plug in this LED light. And you say to yourself, well, who would do that? That's why I'm here. I don't know. All right, so now if we go see where that wire goes to that supplies that 1900 box, we'll find out, they did something similar over here as well. Alrighty, and this is where I believe it originated, because this has got the armored BX cable, and this has got the armored BX cable, and this looks original with the house, built in 1960s, 70s. Alrighty. So you can kind of tell what's new and what's not new. So what we're gonna do is, I'll go back out to the truck, get my tools, and we'll take this. Oh, look how they got that. That's how they wired this light. Isn't that the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen? Like, who does that? But I see a lot of it, unfortunately. And then of course we'll take down this fluorescent light, and we can't have this flying strip receptacle, cord, junction box, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna get rid of that. I'm going to show you what an explosion-proof box looks like. I mean, of course, it's missing the KO seal, so if explosion happens, it's definitely not enclosing that. Where the hell they got the cable coming to the right side of that explosion-proof box is the cable that supplies power to the laundry machine and the dryer out in the garage. So we'll have to reconnect that cable later on in this video, as you'll see. I thought it wasn't attached. Thank God it is. It was just an extra piece wrapped around there. That's good, because if your water heater is not vented, you die. For real, carbon monoxide poisoning. You're taking natural gas and making hot water out of it. You'll die if it's not vented. Looks good, right? It's good. No problems. speaker wire, lamp cord, whatever the fuck. Rolled. That ain't right. See that there? That ain't right. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm mounting a 4-inch square box. I have a bunch of these on my truck, and I like using them because there's a lot of room for conductors. And adding conductors and more conductors, there's room. So that right there is my power coming in from the junction box I'll show you in a moment. And then there's another wire that's going to go out. That's going to be for a brand new GFCI receptacle for the water softener. So I'm just tying in, this is going to be for a pull chain light, so the power is going to come in, the power is going to go out, and then the pull chain itself will turn the light on and off. This is like the utility area. There's a furnace nearby, there's a water heater nearby, and there's a water softener, and you can see the gas main is there. So this is a place that needs illumination. That's what the code calls for. I prefer using these porcelain pull chains whenever possible with the service receptacle on them. That's just what I like to stock. I don't always have them on the truck, but I do like to have them on the truck when I need them. And on this particular job, I'm going to be doing a lot of this, a lot of replacing stuff. So I get the pull chain with the receptacle, and if you need a quick spot to plug in a lamp or a laying fixture, something like that, you have the means to do that. Okay, so since I'm using a plaster ring to attach to the box, and then this pull chain will attach to the plaster ring, I need to knock out the porcelain for the 3-inch holders. The ones that come pre-knocked out are 4-inch for a 4-inch square box, or a 4-inch round box. Essentially, the plaster ring is actually a 3-inch round opening. So I'm knocking out the porcelain very carefully, because that thing, the whole thing assembly will break. And then we'll mount the screws. Obviously right here we'll put the screws into the plaster ring, and then we'll attach to the box, and then we'll pull the wires through. We'll wire up the pull chain and then attach the pull chain to the box, install the light bulb, and we'll be done. Using this plaster ring gives you even more room inside that box. The cubic volume of space increases with this plaster ring. Only by a little, but it increases. Now for the crazy part. That whole circuit is on this double pole 60 that somebody rigged up for portable generator wiring. Now on this channel I've featured a lot of portable generator wiring, and that is definitely not the way to do it. What the hell is going on here? You got a 60 amp breaker. Looks like this black flexible cord off to the right there. See it going up and over. Then it drips over. You know, electrician wasn't here because we're not allowed to strap directly to the bottom of the joist like that for a wire that small. So that's one of the dead giveaways. Then it goes outside. I saw it already when I was here earlier, and I think we're going to disconnect that this afternoon, but for the time being we're going to test the work we just did on that circuit. And it looks like the light by the utility area is working good, right? But let's see how this works. How about that? Isn't that something? We got a lot of rework to do. 16 volts, we got it. Okay, so this cable here is actually the wire that goes out and supplies power to the laundry machine. Now normally that's a 20 amp dedicated circuit, but I gotta check with the person paying for this work to see if they want me to run a new dedicated circuit out there, or if they plan on moving the washer dryer down into the basement. Obviously this was a mistake and I had to take down what I'd already put together and add it in. Otherwise the laundry receptacle wouldn't work, and of course the garage door opener wouldn't work. So there's quite a few things on this circuit, and remember, this was all under a double pole 60 amp breaker. So what does that mean? That means if there's ever an overload, the insulation on that wire is going to burn long before the circuit breaker trips. This was a disaster just waiting to happen, and I'm glad I was able to get there before disaster struck, because it could have been really, really bad. Obviously, an electrical fire happens really quick, and I'm glad we were able to avert it from happening. Like in some of my other videos, I'm using 1/2" EMT here to attach to the cinder block wall, and we'll put a GFCI receptacle in for the water softener that used to be plugged in to that 4-inch square box that we cleaned up, and then we moved the light into the center of the area there. So this is just me at my truck. I'm working in the basement here, obviously, and what I'm doing now is I'm setting up my GFCI receptacle. And what I need to do is I need to take off the ears and attach. What I like to do is I like to take off the ears and attach it to this 4-inch square plate prior to wiring up the device. It just seems to be easier, and it was in kind of a tight area there. I'm a big guy, obviously, and so the easier I can make this work away from where the job actually is, the easier it's going to be to install later. So it's a good habit to get into, prepping as much work as you can with the most room that you have prior to attaching anything to the walls or making anything permanent. This device does not need to be at any required height. This is just for the water softener and for a convenience receptacle. Most likely if you're there working as a mechanical contractor, you may need to charge a battery or plug in a light or whatever might be going on. And so that's why we have it there. And that's why I like to put in those keyless, when I put the pull chains, the Porcel pull chains in, I like to have a receptacle on those as well. Just for this reason, so you have a means of power, whatever you need to do. So with my M12 Milwaukee screw gun there, it's a hammer drill too. I use a 1/4-inch masonry bit, and I drove in just plastic anchors with number 8 or number 10 screws, maybe number 12. I'm not sure, probably 12, to attach it to the wall. And then of course we want to put a strap, and we want to put what's known as a from-to connector where the wire enters the EMT conduit, and that's just a safeguard to protect. That's just there to protect the sheathing on the cable.